Alright guys, so what I want to talk about in this video is the importance of learning the skill to capture to take advantage of counter trend trades, okay? Because especially if you're trading currency pairs are not designed to be very volatile. They are not designed to move in one direction for too long, okay? Because they are actual currencies of economies, and the federal government and their central banks will have to come in to try to mitigate those difference in exchange rates. So currency pairs are not really designed to be too volatile, okay, if that makes sense, because it will affect the economies of those countries that own those currencies. So that's why it's important for you to learn how to capture. If you think a trend is going to the upside like this, and say on a weekly time frame. So if you want to catch counter trend, make sure the trend is on a weekly or on a daily. If you see a trend on 15 minutes, please don't try to catch a counter trend. Don't try to take a counter trend on 15 minutes or 30 minutes. It has to be like on a weekly or on a daily. Then that's when you start looking at, okay, if you just broke a major high. So let's say, for instance, the weekly time frame is doing this. Okay, we know that it has just broken the structure weekly time frame. So there's every tendency for price to give you some pullback on weekly. So pullback on a weekly time frame, if you go down to 4-hour time frame, 1-hour time frame, that's a significant amount of pips that it could give you. So if you have some abilities, some skill that can help you take advantage of the counter trend when it's setting up, on a 4-hour, you could catch some significant amount of pips to the downside. So the rule is, if you want to catch counter trends, make sure the trend is on a higher time frame, like the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. Okay, anything below that, do not look for a counter trend. Okay, especially if it's from like 1 hour down, don't look for any. If you see a trend on a 1 hour, that could be a reversal, that could be a counter trend, that could be a retracement for a daily and a weekly, and you could be on the wrong side. So make sure it's on a higher time frame. So let's say this is happening on a weekly time frame, and you saw that it broke a structure. Okay, it broke a structure here to the upside. And then you know that weekly time frame, for a weekly time frame to retrace or to pull back, it means on a daily and a 4-hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, it's going to be a significant amount of pips. Okay, so that said, now how do you catch those trends? How do you catch those counter trends? So let's say this is a high, a low, a higher high. On a weekly time frame, it's appearing like, okay, single candles printing one after the other going. So it's appearing like it's a straight line. You can't really see the waves on weekly. Definitely, if you go to like 4-hour time frame, you would see things like this happening on that move. Okay, it's not always clean like this, but you see things like this happening. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to wait for a change of character on that 4-hour or on 1 hour or 30 minutes. Okay, you want to wait for a change of character. Why do you want to wait for a change of character? That will confirm to you that actually this pullback is about to begin, because you will always, most likely 80% of the time, see some sort of bearish structure forming when a pullback is about to happen, or a retracement, or a change of trend, whatever. You will see some sort of, so on 4-hour you see the waves forming. You want to wait for, so let's say for instance this is where we have on 4-hour, that's where we have our last higher low. Okay, you want to wait to see a change of character, okay, violating the last low, telling us that, okay, it's like at this point the retracement that we're expecting on weekly time frame, which was just showing us one straight line, and then on 4-hour we're seeing the waves. There's a tendency for this retracement that we're expecting to happen. Okay, and then we know that, okay, we have a structure here that it could pull back into. Sometimes it can even pull back beyond that structure, but at least we know up to this point we can catch some counter trends, right? So on a 4-hour, we saw this happening on a 4-hour, change of character happening on the 4-hour, which if you look at it on a daily, you might, on weekly or daily, you might not see this happening, but on 4-hour, and on 1 hour you can see these waves and you can see this change of character, and then you take your trade. Okay, set your stop loss and you aim for some nice pips to the downside. It is, some people would think it's not ideal, but look at it this way. Weekly is trending to the upside. It has broken a previous structure, a previous higher high, made a new high. We know that that pullback will most likely occur. We know that currency pairs are not designed to remain volatile for too long. Now, when weekly is showing us like it's going in a straight line, you go down to lower time frames like the 4 hour and the 1 hour. You look for the waves there and wait for a change of character, and then you take the counter trend. Because many times what might happen on that weekly is, 4 hour could be showing you this, could be showing you this, weekly unfortunately might give you all the way down, breaking a major weekly structure. Like, whereas if you were just waiting to say, okay, let this guy pull back and then you take a continuation trade, this guy can actually pull all the way back on a weekly and go and break a previous weekly major low, changing character, telling you that right now it might be heading to the downside on a weekly time frame. So if you had the knowledge, the skill, just like what I showed you right here, to take advantage of a pullback just like this. Remember I said you cannot take a counter trend on a lower time frame trend, so it has to be trending on a higher time frame like the weekly, the monthly, and the daily. Then you can now, after a break of structure, you can be looking for a change of character on a smaller time frame to take a counter trend, which could sometimes lead to a complete change of trend even on the higher time frame, like what we have right here with USD CAD. Okay, so USD CAD, we saw this happen, higher high. Okay, so let's say you wanted to wait. So this is weekly time frame and it has broken the structure right here, giving us a higher high, and now you're looking like, okay, this was the low that made the higher high. All right, we're expecting this low to be respected no matter what happens with the pullback. And what did we see happening? So you're expecting a pullback, it's pulling back, it's pulling back. 1 week pulled back, 2 weeks pulled back. The third week, look at what happened. Complete change of character on the weekly time frame. So if you didn't know how to catch a counter trend, let's just say we didn't know this was going to happen. Of course we didn't know this was going to happen, we're just looking at it now because it has happened. We didn't know it was going to break a major weekly low to change character, indicating a downtrend, a change of trend. But you had a skill to help you catch counter trend, and you were able to catch even 50% of this move. You would still be glad that, okay, at least I did not waste 2 weeks for nothing. I did not, at least you caught something. Because these currency pairs, like I said, they are not designed to remain volatile in one direction for too long. That's why you always see them go up and down. You think they are trending to the upside and then they are going back to the downside and all of that. It's always happening. If you could learn to catch counter trends, you might just be catching a change of trend completely on the higher time frame. So I hope this makes sense. Okay, and if it's not clearer, you can send me a comment on what is not exactly clear to you. You can comment what exactly you do not understand, and I'll do my best to explain in the next video. It's not really easy making these videos, but I'll do my best to explain better to you, or you can send me a DM or whatever. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Okay, it's very important. Learn to catch counter trend trades, and it will really elevate your trading skill and could also help you avoid. So another thing I didn't mention, I think I mentioned it partially, do your best to stay away from lower time frames. Make sure your analysis starts from the higher time frame, because the higher time frame paints the overall picture of the entire market. Okay, do your best before you can trade on lower time frame. Make sure you already started on a higher time frame, and what you're looking for on lower time frame is a continuation of trend on the higher time frame move. All right, so I hope this makes sense. Until I see you guys again in the next video, peace out and have a wonderful one. Amazing Prince. Ciao.